Okay, Mom, what do you want to talk about in this segment?
I want to talk about a mother's intuition the day before my Nick passed. It was October 7th, and we had the longest conversation we had ever had as an adult that I can recall, right? Uh, I can't remember if he called me or if I called him, but we talked, and it was just the most amazing conversation. It was like I saw this man that I had been trying to kind of get to the right footing. He was 25 years old, and I just kept waiting for him to get to that point where he realized that life was more than smoking weed. Life was more than just kind of hanging around, and you know. And so this conversation was about like he told me that he was going to stop smoking weed, and I was like, "What? Like, huh?" He was like, "Yeah." He said, "My girlfriend, she has a son," which I already knew about, the situation and everything. But he was like that he wanted to be in the best position for Jordan, and he felt that he needed to do this in order to make their lives better. I was so like amazed that he had that desire. It was a father figure. He didn't have any children, and he was making decisions for Jordan. He was working. In my mind, it was 3 jobs, but I could be wrong. Could have been 2. But like I said, I don't remember everything. Uh, but he was working. And when I'm saying these things, like, he's 25 years old. And you're thinking he should be working. But you know how you have some of our babies where they just can't get it right. They can't get their footing right. And I felt like Dominic had kind of put himself in positions where he was, you know, he'd work a job, then not work a job, and work a job, then not work a job. And, just kind of just moving around, floating around. Not a bad kid or anything like that, but just we was always getting in the way to me. So this conversation was like, he finally found something worth working for, living for, surviving for. So I was just like, my goodness, he's working, and like not just one job, but like I said, it's either 2 or 3 jobs. And he loved Jordan. He loved this kid, and it touched me. It touched my heart, right? So, like I said, I remember it was a long conversation. I felt so amazed, and I felt so like my son has made it, even though, they were regular jobs, but he finally wanted something more, right? And so we talked, and we finally got off the phone, and I remember the feeling after I got off the phone with him. It was this dread. And this was a Wednesday. So, most churches have Bible study on Wednesday. And at the time, during this time, I wasn't really going to church like that. Not like every Wednesday, I was going on Sundays, but not like every Wednesday. But I was like, I felt this urge to go to church. Like I needed to go to church. And I remember it was okay. I called my best friend and I said, "Hey, Darlene, will you go to church with me?" And normally she might be like, "Girl, listen, I'm tired." Or no, And her immediate response was, "Yeah." And I don't know if she felt something. I don't know. But all I knew is I needed to go to church. So we went to my church, and the service was about prayer. It was about when you pray. Now I'm a Christian, okay? So when you pray, you're taking your prayers to Jesus, and he's taking your prayers to the Father. And I remember feeling so overwhelmed with like this fear and this something is not right. Something didn't feel right. Something is not right. And I remember praising at the same time. Then I got on my knees and I just started crying. And my prayer was, God, please protect my son, keep him safe, and let your will be done. Now I'm going to say this because I believe, in letting God's will be done. But if I could tell you, if I had ever had one regret, those words were my regret. I didn't know at the time what I was putting into motion, what I feel like I was putting into motion. But my spirit knew. It was as if it was preparing me for the next day. I'm shaking on the inside right now because I remember that feeling of like, I don't know what is going on. I remember my Darlene looking at me like, I don't know either, but she could tell that something was wrong with me. And I was crying the whole time at church. And I remember when we walked outside and it was pouring down raining. And I could not stop crying. I could not stop crying. Like it was just, and then of course, naturally you see your friend, your sister crying, you're gonna start crying too. So we're outside in the rain, just crying. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong, darling. I don't know what's wrong. Something is wrong. Something doesn't feel right. Thinking about that now, it's like the setup of a bad movie. The setup of a bad movie. I don't remember that night or anything like that. I just know that that day was very heavy for me. And I woke up the next day thinking, you know, thinking everything was, I didn't think of anything. I didn't think anything. But I remember having a conversation that next morning with one of my other friends, like a sister to me, Tasha. We had got on the phone that morning and she was telling me about somebody that had died. I can't remember who it was, what it was. I don't know. And then somebody else, it was like two people had died that morning. And you know how they say that, death comes in threes. Didn't even think, you just don't think it's the third person, the third one is going to be mine. Had no clue, but my spirit knew clearly the day before. But my mind, my body hadn't caught up to that. And when you think about a mother's intuition, you know how you have those feelings. Moms have those feelings. I'm a true testament to that it's real. A mother knows when something's wrong with her kid. A mother knows, a mother feels it. I don't even know how that even happens, but it's real because I felt it. My spirit felt something was not right. And there was nothing that I could do. If you guys heard from the first video, he was perfectly healthy. There was nothing that I could have done to warn him. I think God was just trying to help me prepare. It's kind of like when you know that your child has to walk through something that's devastating for them to grow. I feel like for whatever reason I've had to walk through this to help somebody else maybe. I don't know, but what I can say is that I did feel that something was going on with my son the day before he died. I'm grateful for that day, for that 3-hour conversation that came out of nowhere. I'm grateful for the fact that I was able to see that he had matured enough to to love someone more than himself. Not that he did not, because he was a loving man. He was. But to give up weed, I just did not see that coming. And funny story though. He would drive in my car when he was down here in Georgia. He would drive in my car and he would, of course, as one of the young adults do, they smoke and they have your car smelling like weed. And I would fuss and fuss and fuss. But what I wouldn't give to smell that in my car today. Always been against it. But God, sometimes we as parents, we fuss about things that we don't recognize that we're going to miss if suddenly they're no longer here. It's kind of what I'm left with, those type of memories. A lot more, but those type of memories. I don't smoke weed, but the smell of it takes me back to my baby. But he had given it up for his baby. Proud moment for me. And then he left me the next day. These are hard moments to recollect, to remember, to reminisce. On my last video about the worst day of my life, I thought I did a pretty good job, right? I really did. I thought, okay. It's been 9.5 years and I have not watched the video, but I listened to it again when my best friend played it and I broke down. This is a journey for me for the rest of my life. I'm not expecting to be not ever cry again or not ever have a moment where I'm angry again. And I will share those things. But this is the new Tanisha. This is Tanisha. This is who I am. I'm going to have those moments where I'm happy and I'm smiling. And I'm going to have those moments where I'm just like, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is my life. I couldn't believe that happened to me that day. I couldn't believe that I had to hear the words, or feel something is happening with my son. I didn't even know what was happening. I just knew something was wrong. That's my Nick back there. I didn't even realize I didn't put a picture up, didn't show him. But that's my Nick. He just turned 25. I hope that other parents that are suffering from the loss of a child can find some type of comfort in my videos. This is not just for me just to be sharing, just be talking. That's not the goal. The goal is for it to connect with someone, for someone to find some type of hope, community. I have a lot of kids because of Dominic. Dominic had a lot of friends, and his friends who have become my children. And one of my kids brought up a mom today that had lost 2 of her babies. It touches me to the core. I may not ever reach her. I may not ever talk to her, but I want her to know that I'm here. She's not alone. We have to find a way to survive. People always say, I couldn't imagine, you can't. And that's going to be in another segment, but there's so many parents that I meet now that I connect with that have lost children. And I don't know if they've had moments where they had a day before where they knew, they felt. But what I can tell you is, to that mom, to that dad, I know it's devastating. It's painful. The words can't even describe it. You kind of figure out the word. There's no words to really describe how we feel. Um, I'm just grateful that I've had, even though the day before was an awful day, God loved me enough to try to prepare me. That's all I got from that. I didn't make it up, but He prepared me. And I hope that I can connect with someone and that they can connect with me. I'm just an average person that has lost the first love of her life. And I want to be able to talk about that. I want to, at some point, have other moms, dads come and talk with me. Um, my channel is called Nick's Crossing. My Nick crossed over. And I had to figure out what I was going to do. I was going to cross over too, because I just didn't know. So this Nick's Crossing is a way for me to bridge that gap, for me and other parents. And I'm hoping that, I continue to get healing and bring some type of hope and joy and love, connection, all of that to somebody else. I know this isn't easy. Sometimes it's just can't believe it's actually my life. Please go visit my channel. This is only my second video, but I will be having more. It's called Nick's Crossing on YouTube. Please share it. I know you hear that all the time. Share, like, subscribe, view, all that stuff. But this is more along the lines of my community helped save my life. My support system helped save my life. I want to be a support system to those that may not have one, or to those that are supporting somebody, so you can understand kind of what we've gone through. It does take all of us to survive this. So Nick's Crossing, like, share, subscribe, view. I am here to support you. I am here to encourage you. I'm here to listen. I'm here to cry. I'm here for it all. This does not have to be a journey that you go through by yourself. I know that my Nick is here with me 9.5 years, but it feels like yesterday. Nine and a half years. He would have been 35. That's hard. That's hard because time stops, but ours doesn't. So please join me in sharing this with somebody that may need to just connect with me. I appreciate you for watching. And when I say that I need you, I do. I do. Thanks so much. Please share, like, subscribe, all of that. Take care.